Well, if it's overcast, it must be Tuesday, but here we are with Deb Lambert, garden author at Corliss Brothers. And Deb, what are our plants of the week this week?
Well, we have quite a selection this week, and starting with the camper down elm that we looked at last week, beautiful weeping specimen, now starting to foliate and looking really handsome. Just a great structure to that plant. But underneath, we have a beautiful assortment of flowering plants that start out early. In the larger leafed rhododendrons, one of the first to bloom is the scintillation, which is this pink rhododendron over here, and it is just absolutely a beautiful plant. It will attain a size of about 6 feet tall, 6 feet wide, but it stays very, very compact and has these handsome large leaves. So it's appropriate in front of an area where you maybe have a 6-foot height before you get to the picture window and so forth. It won't impair the vision, if you will, from looking from outside. We've talked about being careful where you put things. And so a plant like that, although it's big in structure and kind of hefty looking and good substance in the landscape, is a moderate size. So we want to talk about plants at a moderate size that will work in the average landscape and in a mixed border as well. The next we have the PJM rhododendron, which many people are familiar with at this point. It's a small-leafed rhododendron. It also will get about 6 feet tall and about 6 feet wide. It's a beautifully rounded plant. It's very handsome in the fall going into the winter because the foliage changes to a beautiful burgundy color.
Oh, cool.
It's gone back to the green coloration now, but it's just handsome all winter as well. Very hardy, especially in sun, which is not true with all rhododendrons, and this one will take a little more wind than a lot of the rhodies will too. So it's a nice one as far as the hardiness. Now earlier, maybe last week or the week before, we were looking at some pieris. We talked about pieris that has interesting new growth. I know that was when we were rained out and we're doing it inside, and right now we can see the new growth coming on this. This is a variety called New Red, and for a good reason, and it will hold on to this nice red foliage longer into the season than other plants will. So you get that, the flowers are just going on the decline right now. They've been beautiful for several weeks, and now you have the interest of the red foliage coming in and holding in there, giving you that longer season of interest. And this is a plant that's moderate size too, maybe in the 4 to 6 foot range. Over in front, down low, we have what's called bog rosemary. That's a pretty little plant. It's nice for bordering. It's very hardy. It's hardy to about a zone 3 or 4, but it does need very good drainage, so that's one thing. It won't take a really wet spot. Think of heaths and heathers. They have that same requirement, really fast draining soil. So a sandy soil with some peat added in is a good choice for that plant, but nice early color on that. It looks like rosemary. It has those same little needles like the herb rosemary has. Not related, but a beautiful plant. Then one of my all-time favorites, and something that made the cover of the catalog this year, is the cameo quince. And this is just heavily budded and just starting to open up now. And they have beautiful peach-colored blooms, and once they pop, they're pretty much gone out of here because it's just so pretty. This is a plant that'll get 4 to 5, maybe up to 6 feet tall. The most mine does seems to be about 6 foot or so. 4 foot. Then we have the Nancy azalea, and Nancy is one that I just have fallen in love with. This is sort of a newer one for us. It almost looks like a gardenia flower. It's just so pretty, these double blooms, and that's a nice early bloomer. This is an evergreen azalea, which is a good feature for year-round interest as well. Next up in here we have the fuchsia. Gerard's fuchsia is the variety of this one, and this will grow about 3 feet tall, 3 feet wide. And if we want a little better look at the flower on that, look over here, and we see this beautiful lower specimen that's already ahead of that one, so you can get a good look at the color. These are just eye-catching in the landscape. Very, very pretty. And with pink especially, it works nice with pink as a foil, like a soft pink like that one. Then we have silver sword azalea, which to me would be worth it just for the foliage. The beautiful variegated foliage is quite unusual in an azalea, but the fact that you have these wonderful kind of light brick red flowers for a time, a couple weeks or so, 2 or 3 weeks, is a nice feature with this one. So this is a plant that, again, is handsome and offers you lots of interest in the landscape. And going along here, we also have another bog rosemary. This is a little different variety with a little bit bluer and wider needle to it, and that's a pretty plant as well for the low borders. Again, well drained is essential, and some protection from the winter wind is good with the bog rosemaries. Very pretty plants. And then last but not least is going to be the magnolias. Now, true, they're on their way out. We'll find a better looking blossom perhaps, and just to appreciate the beautiful deep pink flesh and the creamy ends of the petals here, which are quite nice. We'll get a good one here. That's not bad. But they're just so showy. They're just the prettiest plant. And we've had yellows and cream colors, and those are pretty much gone, I think, at this point. This weekend was so busy that folks are in here really shopping for the magnolias. And like anything else, I mean, it's so seasonal. People are driving around, they're seeing the magnolias, they're seeing the azaleas. They maybe come in with a sample and say, I love this. My neighbor's got it. What is it? I want one. And, and it's all about in the moment a lot of times with gardening, too. But that's some of the earliest spring selections that we have right now that are just so interesting at this point, this time of the year.
All right, there we go. Garden author Deb Lambert with our plants of the week. With more stuff online, I'm Rick Moore.